Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday stream. I am here, Ben Williams, painter for SJGames. We're doing a painting stream today. I also in the studio, I've got Jimmy, I've got Hunter, and I've got Brandon.
Hey, folks.
Howdy.
Uh, because of the season, we're a little bit early, but we're going to do a sort of Valentine's Day themed stream today. I just thought it'd be a little bit funny. So what I've started off with 4 cars that I already have added some paint to. And we're just gonna paint little hearts on them and talk Car Wars, talk Valentine's Day stuff, talk whatever, talk painting, and maybe we'll start a tradition wherein people paint up Valentine's themed cars and then exchange them, because doesn't that sound like the perfect way to let someone know how much you love them?
Or at least paint them up and then exchange fire.
Yeah. And I mean, shoot, if I do finish 4, you guys could do another stream with the Valentine's Day cars all fighting each other. So yeah, I got a couple different pinks. I've got a little bit more of a warm reddish pink, and then I've got sort of your traditional kind of magenta-ish bright pink, flamingo pink. Before we kicked on the cameras, I had sort of started working on blocking out the weapons on a couple of these. Might be a little bit optimistic to think that I'm going to get that done too today, but there's where we stand right now. So let me get started on adding some of this detail. Take these back off the thing. And if anybody is curious, as I've been using for the last few times now, I've got mostly AK acrylics. And so for these, on the reddish pink, that is their dead red. Which seems, I don't know, it seems pretty lively, but I think it's kind of more supposed to be like a meat color than like a zombie color. So it's not that like gross zombie green. It's like a recent kind of a fresh kill
Chopstick.
dead red. Yeah. And that is had a little shading airbrushed on with some magenta. Or no, sorry. With the wine red. So it's dead red and wine red. And for the other one we have intense pink. Shaded with a little bit of magenta. All right, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to get on a base coat for all these weapons. And then once that is dried, I can dry brush it with some metal, give it a wash, and hopefully that'll be all the metallic parts needed for these cars today. That'll be all they need.
And also shout out to Turbo Dork for those cool pallets.
Oh yeah, so this is their silicone pallets.
I don't think they're actually
Non-stick.
available yet, but they sent us some prototypes.
Oh, hopefully we're not spoiling anything.
No, they've talked about them.
Okay, but yeah, so we got those here. The whole idea is that you can just paint them. The paint will just pop right off because they're totally non-stick.
Yep.
And I got this little space for water, which is also helpful. Let's get those hubcaps while we're in there. Anybody in chat have any strong feelings about holiday themed miniatures, whether it be Valentine's Day or Car Wars? Anybody ever painted a Valentine's themed mini before, or any kind of holiday themed mini?
We have determined that 50 Calibers of Love seems like a good album title.
Definitely.
People like the starting colors, especially the magenta-ish one.
Yeah, very, very Valentine's Day, hopefully. Really getting that vibe across. And shoot, I mean, while we're talking about Valentine's Day, is everybody prepared? Have you bought that important gift for your loved ones? Have you got that table reservation at your favorite restaurant? Are you ready for Valentine's Day? I'm really not, but that's because my wife and I already know that we can't get anybody to babysit the kid. So we're going to try to do something this weekend and then just have a relaxed Valentine's Day at home.
Gene
Kids
likes
make
the idea
everything
of
a little tougher.
Gene likes the idea of those pallets. Says when she's not using her wet palette, cleaning them is a pain. So.
Oh, Gene, yeah, Gene. Gene probably hates these cars. Gene, I think we've mentioned this before. Her least favorite color is pink. Is that correct?
She said, "Ben, you know I loathe pink."
Yep.
Depleted Uranium Cowboy says seasonal cars is a new concept, but he likes it.
I mean, the Halloween one will probably be the coolest, but Valentine's Carnage, Valentine's Vehicular Mayhem is pretty funny.
I think you could do like a fun, like midsummer Malibu beach style paint job on some stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like that pink is really good for like a almost that Vice City-ish like 80s look.
Yeah, it's very retro. It's not actually neon. It's just a really nicely saturated color.
Yeah,
The
if you went
magenta
like
and the pink together.
One of those like powder blues or turquoise blues with it, it would end up looking.
Yeah, you could have like a crazy like lightning strike of that
Some serious vapor.
fluorescent blue.
That's
Yeah.
where I was like,
Yep.
vaporwave.
And I mean that's kind of what we have on the lead-in anyway, like that vaporwave, synthwave look. I didn't think of vaporwaves more as like weird early '90s stuff with like marble and more desaturated colors, but hey, I don't think there's like a real standard out there. Vaporwave is just kind of weird that way.
Well, magenta and cyan type colors tend to skew towards vaporwave.
Jean says she's updating her brush rage wish list. Which was the color you're using for shading the dead red?
Wine red.
Wine red.
Yeah, I love that color. All right, let's get that grilled too. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to get the brush in there. I'm using my big brush right now. I've been using it for kind of a while. It doesn't quite go to the best point anymore. I think I can still get in there. Oh, no, I already missed. This is it AIT? Yeah, this is an AIT art brush. This is Amazon's like cheapest but best, I guess, offering. They work pretty well, but they're just not quite up to the Winsor and Newton ones that I use for most of it. Although you can get pretty good results with them, even with the smaller ones, they tend to do a pretty good job. And should we keep doing this? I mean, there's practically a holiday every month, so
We could find one for sure.
yeah.
People tune in for the St. Patrick's Day slam.
You guys should definitely do Easter cars,
Easter cars would be
Easter egg cars.
funny. Unfortunately, I don't know. We might run out. Like a lot of the ones that I've been bringing, especially these, are factory rejects. They're the ones where we were like, no, this is something about this isn't quite good enough. So please improve these. So they're the samples that we approved or denied. And I think these are all denied ones because I think the approved ones got filed away somewhere to compare. Yeah, we can probably find some out in the warehouse.
I have a lot of mine that are unpainted still.
Yeah, me
so-
too.
Oh, right.
We start getting free commission painting from Ben.
Oh wait, I
Uh,
just thought of the name for this stream, Valentine's Sleigh. Happy Valentine's
Boat
Sleigh.
Paints Minis says that they just got here. Did you strip and prime the car before starting?
No, I mean these are the plastic ones.
Yeah. The base coat was already on them when we started the stream.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were primed before we started.
Oh, strip and prime. Yeah, I just heard the strip part, like that I showed the paint. But yeah. Sorry, I primed them. I primed them and airbrushed the color on first to get a little bit of a head start. I never really took a close look at this minigun. It actually has like 6 individual little barrels. That's pretty rad. Which one is this? Conestoga? With the weird westerny look?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, it looks like a hearse is what it looks like. And if anybody's wondering, I did pick these 4 cars based on the fact that they all have a decent amount of flat surface that I can paint cool little hearts on. So yeah, Easter, Christmas, and Halloween, of course, all seem like really great potential paint stream holidays to do.
Don't forget
St.
Halloween.
Patrick's Day.
Sorry, I'm gonna nix the St. Patrick's
Yeah.
joke.
You
Oh,
combine
come
it with
on,
Easter.
man.
Just
No,
I'm just throwing that out there.
Nice big green car.
no,
No, Hunter.
we don't need to paint every holiday, guys. I'm not gonna have Arbor Day
Oh, that's a good one.
streams.
I want to do an Arbor Day stream. Earth Day. What about Earth Day? You can use only like earth-friendly paints. Just paint it with dirt
You know what, Ben?
and like nice natural.
Yeah, you plan that one. We'll work on it.
Okay.
Some Agrax
Good.
Earth Shade all over the car.
yeah, that's the Conestoga.
What else? 4th of July. That'd be a lot of little stars and stripes painting on these little cars.
I think Chad,
It would
is,
only be good for viewers in one country.
Chad is enthusiastic about cars with shamrocks all over them.
Oh, Hunter, you're gonna break somebody's heart.
Yep, I am gonna break people's hearts. They can-
Hunter doesn't
Here's the
care.
good news, everyone. Get some Star Wars cars and paint some shamrocks on them.
See, that's why Hunter is the marketing director, because he just makes those cruel decisions without
I have to
even
make
thinking
hell
about
of
it. Yep,
terrible decisions.
he's got to make the tough decisions.
So you do one that's just like mostly like a really, really, really dark brown with kind of like a nice light tan on top. You make it the Guinness car.
The shamrock streak.
Wait a minute, is that a holiday?
Well, it'd be for St. Patrick's Day. I think is the point, right? Right,
Yeah,
Jimmy?
Not what
Did I
that's
interpret you
about.
correctly? What?
It's about yes, it is. Yes, it is. I don't even drink, and it is absolutely what it's about.
Because it's supposed to be green beer.
Oh, No.
And then we already missed Groundhog Day. How do we do it? I mean, do we
You
just
can go back to it.
paint a groundhog on a car? Oh yeah, we can just repeat it over and over again. I don't know if I want to freehand a
think we've already
groundhog
talked
on a car just to like do a 1-day holiday stream gag. Because the other option is just to paint it brown, which doesn't really sound that exciting either.
Well, see, we just filmed like 15 minutes of the stream and then set it to loop, and then we go get lunch.
It's Groundhog Day. Flag Day. Paint a flag on the car.
Jean says if you do run out of cars, she's got a full set she can print as finals, test print as finals.
Oh, that's right, because yes, thanks to Carnage, all these are now available as 3D printable STLs. So hey, there you go. It's totally not an issue.
You should really make a car for Grandparents' Day.
Use static grass refer on the Groundhog Day car.
That would be funny. I swear there used to be somewhere out there in the world like a Chia car,
Like one of the art cars.
which you could also, yeah. Which I'm sure is like a lot harder to make than it sounds. At least if you actually want to drive the thing around and not have just like clods of grass fly off
Yeah, I'm sure.
when you reach any kind of significant speed. But I do think that was the point, was that it actually was driven around. What else could there be? I mean, I think we've really covered all the good holidays. Thanksgiving.
4th of July.
I mentioned 4th of
Yeah,
July.
you mentioned that.
Oh,
You
did
do like
you?
a
Lots-
midsummer kind of
All
thing.
right.
What else we got?
I mean, there's Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
which would just be like turkey on the car.
Your back to school car, just a highly armored minivan.
School.
School bus. School bus. Or school bus themed. There we go. 4th of July versus Canada Day car battle. Go.
Oh, nice. When is Canada Day? Does anybody know that? Anybody in the studio know when Canada Day is? Could they be? Is it close enough they could be done at the same stream?
July 1st.
Well, okay, there you go. So that'd have to be the June stream.
Right.
Stripes are not particularly difficult to paint, but man, stars are hard. You gotta be real careful, and it's real hard to get them spaced out right. And if you really want to get them spaced out right, you really need to start with a pentagon shape, because it's easier to get that unified
Lined
looking, and then paint away
Do you
the
use
corners.
Some sort of stamping tool
Yeah, you can always do that. It's not as much fun to do that on stream though. Looks
Or a
cooler if you can
stencil.
actually like freehand it and show off.
Gotcha.
It's always easy to underestimate just how much like metal area, and I mean, I guess it's totally up to you what you want to paint as metal or not on any of these cars. I basically paint anything that looks like it's not part of whatever the original car was that ends up being metal. And this guy's got a lot.
Did you see on our TikTok the scaled down Carnage models?
Oh yeah, that Irene's been messing with.
Yeah, she got them scaled down and tried some paint jobs, some similar-ish paint jobs on the mini
Like
versions.
classic scale.
Yep. Jean says she'll make you a stencil and you can airbrush them. We can't airbrush in the studio here though. No atomized paint near the cameras.
Oh yeah, that's probably a bad idea.
And also it's
Even
not
if I
very
had a
ventilated
spray
in
up.
here.
No. All right, I think Conestoga is good on metal bits. So this is Apollo. I don't know why I remember Apollo.
Bo Paints Mini says chrome pens are great for Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars.
Oh yeah, those are probably really good. That's not something I've used before. But I mean, freehand. If you want to like freehand a metallic shape, that's just about impossible. So, I mean, with a brush, that is to say. So the chrome pens are definitely going to be the way to go. So we were also trying, and I don't even know if I can freehand lettering small enough to do any of this, but we were thinking of like corny Valentine's Day Car Wars puns, like,
Like the little hearts, but has cars instead.
well, I mean, I was thinking more like, would you be mine? And there's like a little picture of a mine there.
Right.
Or, you know, our love burns hotter than a fire lands. I don't know. We're still workshopping all of these, right? That's why I'm bringing it up. I missile you so much. I think that's terrible enough that it probably deserves a space on one of these cars. Again, assuming I can do lettering that tiny. What else? I mean, there has to be room for more burning love, flamethrower kind of territory, right?
Yeah.
Slab.
Hunter's got to write his love note to the slab. Chat suggests you're just my caliber.
Just my caliber.
That's
I miss
a
you
good
so
one.
much with like dice that are just all shields. Hunka hunka burning asphalt.
I will never tire of you. That's not
Tire?
very interesting. Yeah, because cars have tires, right? See, it's really not. It's not that cerebral. You're probably looking deeper than it needed to be.
Do a little crossover here. Your love makes my heart go daka daka.
I mean, you make my heart go vroom could definitely work on one of these cars. Although they don't vroom because they're electrical. We're not going to worry about that for now.
It's about the feel, right?
Right.
Get a room.
Number one with a bullet. You're my number one with a bullet. Again, the shorter the better.
Get a room is pretty short.
Yeah. All right, so we are getting close to having all the metal areas blocked out with this blue so I can dry brush them in a bit. So I think I'm going to start on this car here with something a little on the fancy side, which is I might actually try to do a scroll over the heart, which is something that I've done before on a very tiny tattoo on a very different model a long time ago, and have not had cause to do it since. It was this big, tough Hulk-looking guy, so I gave him a mom tattoo, a little heart with a little scroll, which I thought was kind of funny.
Nice.
All right. So let's go back to Apollo, or no, this is Apollo. Let's go back to Typhoon, because I'm pretty sure all Typhoon should be dry. So we'll start off with the scroll shape. Where's the camera at? Try to get this.
James is loving the pink base coat on that one.
Is that Warehouse James?
No,
Or
no, James
Different
on
James.
James on Facebook.
James on Facebook. Thanks, James. All right, so with stuff like this, it's more graphical. You usually want to start with trying to get the shape there. Now, because I have such a nice even undercoat, I'm going to try to not have to paint over it, but that's probably going to be impossible. So the cute little scrolls that you see on hearts and stuff, they kind of start with like a band. And then it's going to go down, and you're going to get these little, like, sort of wings coming off the side. And it looks like this is all going to take a couple of coats. So I will move on. I put some wine red out earlier, so that will give me a nice heart shape.
Downside of having that strong a base coat is the lighter stuff above it's got to take a few passes.
Yep. So hearts are pretty simple. If there's one thing that most everybody watching this can probably freehand, it's a heart. The tricky part here is to miss the scroll while it's still being worked on. And then if you want to get really fancy, maybe we can get a little fancy. You can add some sort of shading to that off-white. I'm using ivory there. Again, it's an AK color. So what I'm doing now, I'm kind of poking around in my box of paints that I brought. See if maybe there's a nice brown or something that could make for a good sort of yellowed paper look. I've got this light brown. It's a very warm little brown. Hope this doesn't end up taking too long because I have 3 other cars. Probably a little too ambitious for one stream.
Both things that needs some glitter.
Oh, I didn't bring any glitter.
Also not something we want in the cameras.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, in paint form, it's fine.
Well, I mean, and plus as glitter, we do have the Turbo Dork stuff, don't we? I mean, that's basically liquid glitter, right?
The color shifts.
Yeah, and just, I mean, just their metallics.
Yeah. Like a good gemstone metallic will look glittery.
Yeah. Let's switch brushes.
I like the little wings on the scroll there.
Yeah, those are where you need to finish off.
Bo asked if you like Turbo Dork brushed on. They've only used it with an airbrush.
I don't know that I've ever used that, so I can't comment, I'm afraid.
Turbo Dork?
Brushed on? Oh, have I? Sorry, you said brushed on in this way that made me think
Oh.
you were talking about like a special product. Yeah, that's actually the only way I've used it. And it can be okay. I think airbrushing on Turbo Dork Metallics is definitely the best way to go if you have the airbrush handy. Um, but it'll work. You just need to make sure you've got a good undercoat to work from. They recommend like whether you do white or black with specific things, and then I think having some, depending on what you're doing, maybe even having some zenithal highlighting set up beforehand, even if it's just from two different cans of primer, could also help. I think I'm gonna add. I haven't gotten my black out yet. One of my rules is you don't use pure black for lots of stuff. So it'd be really easy to just jump to using pure black for this outlining that I'm about to do, but I'm going to mix it with just a little bit of brown. So it kind of has a little bit of a warm feel to it. Honestly, the pure brown might work, but it's pretty tiny. So you want to make sure you have the right amount of contrast that it can really be seen at a distance. So whatever you're painting, if you do end up doing any outlining, that can be the chance to sort of mess up your mistakes if you've made any, because the outline can be bigger, it can make the shape larger, it can even make it sort of feel smaller, depending on whether you outline perfectly with the shape you've made, or if you outline outside the shape you've made, or if you outline within the shape you've made. All of that can change up the look of something you've already begun freehanding. All right, and let's do a purple outline for the heart. That sounds fun, right? Oh. This purple, this is not an AK color, this is a Reaper color. It's called Imperial Purple, and I do really like it for blending, but it can go on a little bit transparent, which can be annoying. But it's a nice, deep, warm purple, and deep, warm purples, this is the best one I've found. Lots of, I really honestly had a hard time finding good, solid, dark purples. And I really like this color, even though the paint quality isn't always the best. So you see I'm having to do multiple outlinings with it.
You tried any of those new
Oh no,
Citadel contrast purples?
I have not.
'Cause I think some of those are single pigment colors, and they're really strong.
One of these days when I get back to painting like a full army of anything, I've decided I'm definitely gonna use contrast paint to get, because it takes so long to paint a whole full army. But I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm still mostly doing, when I do paint in my spare time for games, it's usually skirmishy stuff, so I'm willing to take a little longer with it. See, and this is like a perfect example of how, I don't know what, there's got to be some kind of optical principle behind this, but when you spray paint on a color, airbrush on a color, it always seems to come out looking nicer and more saturated than when you brush it on. And that is happening to me right now because I just tried to brush on a little bit of pink to touch up a mistake I made, and it's just not, I don't know if you can see it, but it just like really stands out that there's like this obvious pink line that's not as warm or saturated looking as it was on the original. I'm going to add a little bit of magenta to it to try to give it a little bit more color, and hopefully that'll fix it. Oh yeah, that's a little better. It still feels a little cooler. Oh well. It's also possible that there's, even though it's fresh water, there's just a tiny amount of pigment in it that's throwing off the color a little bit. All right, so I think the little wings on the scroll should have gone out a little bit further, but maybe I can fix that if I do another one with the scroll. And hey, that's part of the learning experience. So you guys, when you make your Valentine's cards at home, which I'm sure you're going to do, or probably you're already doing, let's be honest, you can learn from my little mistake here. All right, so what are we going to write on this one? I mean, we could just be Car Wars. It could be I Heart Jimmy. It could be just love. I can only write so small.
Right. Let's see. What do we have?
Oh, you know what else looks good on these little scrolls? If you do little, like little tears.
Or just like in the edges, make them look a little worn.
Well, you
Little
just
old
gonna
map-
do little like triangular shapes in it.
Old map scroll effect sort of thing.
Yeah.
High octane love.
Something about your heart. Make my heart go boom.
Maybe just something silly like fatality. I don't know. And one thing that I'm not really good at, so I'm not even gonna try, is calligraphy. I can do it, and again, it's something that I have done here and there, but it's not something I can do just out of my head. Like I actually have to like print out whatever I want to I have to write out the words in a calligraphic font and print it and then like reference it.
And like what? Yeah.
I don't know calligraphy well enough to just pull it out of my head. Let's see, could I do number 1 with a bullet?
How about heart to get?
But that's not a Car Wars pun.
Sure it is.
Heart.
They're chasing you down, trying to get you.
Oh.
I like number 1 with bullet.
Maybe I can draw the bullet so I don't have to write out quite as much. All right, let's see. So notice how if I'm like trying to fully brace as much as possible so it's wiggling. It's not wiggling at all. So I've got the hand I'm painting with pressed up against it, and I've got my other hand locked firmly on it. I'm literally pressing my whole body up against the table, and I'm also leaning on the table so that there's like as little wiggle as possible.
So it's a great time to bump the table is what I'm hearing.
Only if you want to mess up my perfect Valentine's Day card that I'm working on.
Gene says heartbreaker with a heart full of bullet holes.
Heartbreaker.
Oh, and the other thing, the thing that I have failed to do, although I think I'll get this, is when you have a little scroll or something like this, if you really want to make sure your spacing is correct, again, this is something you want to plan out ahead of time. You actually want to start with the middle letter, try to get it centered in the space as best as possible, and then do work out from the left and right. And that's the only real way to make sure that you get it absolutely perfectly centered in there. Otherwise, it's really easy.
You don't have that like narrowing as it gets near the end of the word.
Exactly.
I've done that many a time on things.
Yep. And now all I need is to paint a little tiny bullet. Another good thing to do whenever you're freehanding anything, and it's another thing I forgot, this is when you really want to get out your retarders, no snickering, to slow down the drying time on your paint. Because often, even if you're not blending something, it helps most with the blending, but even if you're not blending with something, you can find yourself sitting there concentrating for so long that like the paint is drying in the bristles of your brush. So freehanding is always a good time for a retarder.
That's just something you mix into the paint medium or the
Yep.
palette medium.
Yep. Mix it in a little bit on the palette. So now I got to make sure this really looks like a bullet and not like something else.
We trust you.
I should probably paint a little color on it, just to be clear. I'm glad Hunter got called away in an errand, so I'm glad it's just the adults in the room, because he probably wouldn't be able to resist making a joke about that. All right, so what we need is a little bit of, let's do kind of a copper. So I got this cavalry brown. This is some Vallejo model color. Maybe what I need to do is try to make the tip look a little bit more pointed. And then the tip needs to be gray. A nice lead bullet gray.
You can make it could make it like a Super Mario bullet bill.
Yeah.
Oh, probably too small for that still.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
You'll have to go to Twitch to read that one, but you could do that.
Trying to keep it PG-13.
Yeah.
An alternate slogan was suggested if the bullet gets messed up. But you'll have to join us on twitch.tv/SteveJacksonGames to see that comment.
Of course, the hairs on my brush have chosen this moment to start splitting while I paint.
They're like, you're almost done with the really fiddly part? Let's help.
Yeah. Another thing that can be helpful with freehanding is just knowing which direction you kind of have the most control with and just rotating whatever you're painting as needed.
So if you can pull the brush rather than push the brush sort of thing.
Yeah. All right, hopefully only a really sick person would look at that and not see that it's clearly a bullet, right? Right? Right?
I mean, if they're curious, they can just lean closer and get into firing range, right?
There you go. And then what else? Optional. Let's add a little bit of sort of balloon highlighting to the heart. Why not?
From the top-down shot, folks, you can notice which palette is Ben's favorite.
I've gotten to the point now where I do most of the mixing on the real palette, but I still use my hand mostly to try to get the right point on the brush and to get rid of excess paint. So what ends up happening, my hands are still always covered in paint, but it's less paint than it was before I really got in the habit of using a palette. All right, number one with a cigar
Bullet.
with a bullet. Number one with a bullet.
Put it on the table.
Sure, but people won't be able to read it because it'll be rotating.
Well,
I guess I can stop it.
they probably won't be able to read it anyways.
Can it be read? Where's this?
Well, yeah, you can just about see it.
See if I can get a little bit of light off of that for a second so we can see it through the glare. Keep the camera there for a sec, Brandon, and we'll see if we can just shade it a little bit.
Too much? Not enough?
I still can't quite get it. You can sort of see. It cuts the glare off some.
I'm sure we could take pictures of this after the show.
Yeah, we'll get some pictures and throw them up.
Send
Yeah.
it to Hunter to put on a Twitter or something.
Yeah, it's the least you can do after running off in the middle of a stream. All right, so I think for this next one, we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do a series of 3 hearts. We're going to have little heart, bigger heart, little heart. And it's just going to be I, and then an explosion kind of thing, and then a U.
I think that
Seems
works.
like a nice, good one to go with. I'm going to go with white hearts this time. Do white hearts on a pink background. And maybe give them a nice, thick red outline. So I guess I will stick with the... well, maybe let's just do a super pale pink. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. We've got this nice salmon.
People like how that last one turned out.
Cool, 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 cool. Do I have an even paler pink? All my really pale pinks are skin tones. We've got the fair highlight. Oh, so fair. All right, we'll start with that. So no scrolls this time, so we're going to start off with some nice sort of plump circles. This is another Reaper color I have. This is fair highlight. I guess I just said that, didn't I? I don't think I mentioned it was Reaper though. All right, then you add on that point. And we're gonna get our bigger heart. Ew, this has nothing to do with Valentine's Day, but all these hearts on these cars are making me think that a cool car visual theme would be like a casino car, like spades and hearts and.
Okay.
Clubs.
Yep. All right.
Do
I'm
like the
switching to
hood
switch
that
brushes again.
like felt green.
Yep. That one's driving me crazy. It keeps splitting. This one
My
has,
casino sponsor everything already. Why not an auto duelist?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do theoretical sponsor cars. Get some lucky sevens on it. Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the car's name would be Casino Royale.
Of course.
I think you'd want to use one of the ones that has those nice big round fenders and stuff for that. Like the ones that we have a few of those that are in that kind of bulbous, chunky front style looking thing.
Yeah, there's a great looking car called Aristocrat that looks a lot like a sort of 30s era. Really expensive 30s era kind of car that could be a great casino one. I actually kind of thought about that a little bit with it when I painted the studio one, because that one I think has like gold, white, and green. Because something about it just felt like Gilded Age.
Oh, is that the one that's kind of like long and
Yep,
kind of chunky on the back
yep.
with the pipes coming up? Yeah, that's in miniature set 3.
All right, so I don't know if you guys are noticing that I'm having to make a few adjustments due to not spacing everything quite right. But that's what makes it painting. You can always paint over stuff.
Yeah, correct, Gene. And it's in the Carnage set.
And it's in Carnage. Let's see. That looks like it wants to take a little while to dry. So I'm going to real quick try to do something with Valentine's Day Apollo's windows. Keep the color a little Valentine's Day adjacent with back to that Imperial Purple. Or I guess I could start on another one. When I was grabbing Scarab, I thought, hey, this car has a lot of nice flat surfaces, but Scarab is like 75% windshield. I guess there's no reason you couldn't paint a heart on the windshield, but it just seems a little weird.
In theory, you're mostly driving with hoods and stuff in these cars anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's hope so.
they don't necessarily even need a windshield at all.
A couple of them
'Cause
don't have them.
Yeah, because you could just be inside looking at a screen. Definitely the safer way to auto duel.
Right.
So who needs that? Where's the fun if there's not some risk of loss of life and limb? There we go. That's what I was trying to say. All right, you dry yet? No. All right, what can I do with Scarab here? Maybe I can paint some of that giant windshield while I think about it. Really just got room. We got room for hearts here and here. If I had more time, it could almost be fun to just cover one car completely in hearts. But that would take a while. But it would make for a neat Valentine's Day car for sure. Scarab is the one with the missiles, so if I'm going to try to do anything with the I missile you so much pun, it's got to be this one. And then we do the same thing with like the Rebus missile. You. So we could let's say bad instead of
Much.
So yeah, save a little space.
You could just I missile you.
Yeah.
Give you a little more space to work with.
Yep. And that kind of makes a nice little round shape too, or a nice little, yeah, I and then the missile and then you.
Mhm.
That's a nice presentation. That's what I'm looking for. So this one, I think I want to do another light pink. Maybe Conestoga will get a scroll. So I'll have 2 with scrolls and 2 without. I kind of want to put some stuff down here, but we'll worry about that later. You. Still not fully dry. All right, that means we're moving to Conestoga. I'll try a double-decker scroll on this one. And we'll figure out what it's going to say later.
Just one of the saw weapons with love hurts.
Hmm. That's a good one. Well, that works on this one. We don't have a saw weapon on Conestoga. We could just do Love Hurts. Trying to make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Alright, so I promise this weird object I'm making right now will make sense when all the outlining and shading is done. Doesn't look like much right now.
Shane says, I think you'd have to use DIY printable decals for this, but a car covered with conversation hearts with Car Wars related sayings on them.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely what I was kind of thinking of. But Gene is exactly correct, of course. Just having that many is going to be too difficult to paint, definitely in one session. If I was like really dedicated to this gag and had a few days to spend, that's something that could work. But I am not that dedicated to this gag.
Plenty of time for those to dry in between so you don't smudge the words. So I know we don't usually do it in here because you're not usually finishing minis on stream, but when you finish these, do you do any sort of finishing spray or sealant or coat on them?
Yeah, I like Model Master, or no, sorry, it's Tester's Dull Coat that I couldn't find for years, and then recently I've actually been able to buy again. I think I'm gonna have to fix a little bit of one of the scroll. Don't like how it turned out. Are you finally done? Yes, Mr. Difficult over here. So let's try to go back with some more of this pink. This pale pink. Because it's still, I mean, it's still not even. Not as much as it should be, anyway. All right, I think that's good enough. So now, just like our last one, by which I'm referring to Apollo, we're going to need some outline. So we've got this nice wine red.
Jean says she's looking forward to trying out Games Workshop's Max Matte finish. Irene's recommended it to her.
Is that a spray or a brush on?
Not sure. Jean, is that a spray or a brush finish? A Green Stuff World's Max Matte finish. Brush. That's a brush on from Green Stuff World, not Games Workshop, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I think that's why I asked, because they were talking about something from... They were talking about a brush on matte sealant, but it was not from Games Workshop, so I thought this was something different.
They said I misread the acronym.
Yeah, GSW instead of GW.
Right.
Yep. And then when you're doing outlining, one thing that can look cool is just if it's thicker in certain parts than others.
Give it a little more depth on that side.
Yeah. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, hey, I should have had these overlap a little bit. That would have been cooler. So I just had them all in a row. But again, that's why planning is so important. If you really want to do something cool, you really want to sit down ahead of time and kind of try to think it out.
Do you ever like sketch your stuff out ahead of time, or just kind of plan through it mentally?
Sometimes I will, because I do so much stuff on the computer. I usually it's something I would do graphically, and then I need to just grab a screenshot of it and have it on my phone to look at while I paint, or print it out But I didn't do that for this. How are we on time?
Been going about an hour, a little over.
Oh, wow. Well, I gotta get at least 2 of these finished, yeah. All right, so the fun part will be I'm gonna try to do a little explosion symbol, like from the dice. What does that one look like, Jimmy?
Which one's that?
Explosion dice.
No, like on the hit on the Car Wars dice. It's kind of like, is that kind of like an explosion?
Yeah, you're looking at let's pull the rule sheet. You're largely looking at like a kind of open. It's a star with a hole in the center, basically.
Like a 5-pointed star?
Yeah, let me get an image of here. And
I was just talking about how those were so hard to do. Oh wow, okay, it's been a long time since I looked at one, I guess. You know what, I think, because it's more fun, I'm gonna do like more of a traditional looking explosion.
yeah, zombie dice style.
Yeah. That's probably what I was thinking of in my head.
Yeah.
The zombie dice explosion.
They're like the explosion with the like kind of explosion hole cut out of the middle.
Yeah.
The symbol. Yeah.
It could even be a little mushroom cloud, couldn't it?
Yeah. So one of the things we're working on elsewhere in the office is we're pushing towards getting our new store, our new web store online. So you're going to see things moving more that direction now, and more stuff coming online over at that store very soon. So if you have not yet gone and linked your accounts, you should probably go to our current warehouse 23. There's some links there that'll take you to the new store, and will tell you how to link up your accounts so that everything syncs up with your old orders. So if you've got old electronic files that you purchased, you'll be able to get them on the new store and everything. But we're planning on pushing forward on that some over the next coming weeks, so you'll see some changes coming there pretty soon.
What I'm puzzling over in my head, thinking about whether I want to do a mushroom cloud or just a normal sort of explosion-y looking thing, is just which
What's the phrase we're using again?
mushroom cloud?
Just a mushroom.
I hurt you.
Well, I mean, this is just kind of a visual gag. So it's like I
boom
explosion
I
you.
explosion you.
I missile you.
Yeah. Well, that's the other one. I'm just trying to think of which will read the best on this tiny car hood, right? And I after thinking about it, I don't know if the mushroom cloud will be as obviously instantly readable.
Yeah, I think the explosion.
But then maybe
symbol
this one won't be too.
I heart blast you.
Actually, that does look a little bit like the. You may have been thinking of the explosion damage type, like the symbol used in the rulebook for explosion damage.
Yeah, I think this is like less representative of any specific thing at this point, and more just like I'm trying to paint a little explosion-y thing happening here.
Not an extra spare missile in the center of the heart. Yeah, you could definitely do some of this with extra bits instead of paint.
And more, this is one of those things where like the more I add to it to try to get the point across, the more I'm making it look less like what was intended. It looks kind of like an explosion.
Explosion, fire. Gets the idea across.
One of the other big things with the store is the new dice store, right? Everything's on the dice store now.
I'm not sure.
No?
Oh, that's the dice store we put up periodically for pre-orders and stuff. Yeah.
I don't think it's open right now.
Yeah, I don't think that one's currently running right now.
Really? I thought I saw something about it on Facebook. Like on the consumer end. All right, we're going to call that one done for a while. See if we can't finish up Conestoga before we run out of time. Just gonna expand this out a little bit.
The important thing to know if you are setting up an account on the new store and are trying to link your old account is that you want to sign up with the same email address that you use currently on Warehouse 23. And that will allow the stuff that we've set up in the background to find the two accounts and link them together. But you want to use that same email address that you're using with the current Warehouse 23 on our new store. And that'll help us to get your stuff linked up a little bit more automatically. If you haven't been buying in a while, come by and check out the new stuff.
Yeah, we make so much stuff, whether it's dice or like fantasy trip, quick quests, and everything, that a lot of it, we can't get all of it in every LGS. So,
You know, and that's even beyond the stuff that's only digital that we make. Like,
right.
a lot of the GURPS supplements are digital. We've now got both the Car Wars Carnage stuff, which is coming out, and the Fantasy Foes line of STL fantasy miniatures.
Yep.
So those are things that you can't get in a local store because they're digital only.
So it's always worth checking it out
Yep.
to make sure you're not missing anything. All right, so when you do a little double scroll like this, there's always sort of two ways to go at it. You can have the whole thing be out front, or you can have it wrap around behind the object. And I have mine, just the whole thing is all out in front, so you see the top bit with its sort of little wings down here. And then it goes this way, and then the scroll goes down, flips
And-
back up.
Gene says also, and the escape, the square escape and hex escape stuff.
Oh, is that up there? I didn't even know that was up there. And so you can see I'm kind of cleaning up some of the less awesome looking bits. All right, so this was supposed to be Love Hurts. We've got a little bit more room. Love really hurts? um, well, let's not overthink it. We don't have that much time left. Maybe I can try to make it look a little calligraphic. The way to do that is just like extra lines.
Escapes are not available yet, but they will be. They're still finishing the fine details on it.
I think I'm going to have to widen the bottom one as well. But again, it's paint. You can paint over it. Whatever I was trying to do with that V, I'm not sure that that worked out because it looks more like a U.
Problem they've had throughout history.
The further I go, the more I'm kind of losing any real attempt at doing the calligraphy.
I mean, these are cars that you're about to go out to the arena and beat each other up with. I don't know if they're going to do too much calligraphy on them.
Yeah.
I mean, someone will probably, but some just want to get the message across.
It's the future. Maybe they have special paint
That could be.
painted on, and it turns into a screen and can look like whatever you want.
Sometimes I think it was in Demolition Man of all movies where they like set up like a box and press a button and run away, and then it like paints up this perfect graffiti on like the side of a building or something. Was that Demolition Man or some other weird movie?
It's been a while since
I
I've
don't
seen
know, but
that.
that's not enough to
You know-
make me
you
go
don't-
back and watch Demolition Man.
Maybe this time you'll finally figure out how those shells work.
I still wonder what the sponsorship deal was on there with like did they take like bids to see who got to win the fast food war? Like someone's gonna have won the fast food war. Send your bids, guys.
Yeah, and Taco Bell.
Taco Bell won.
Yeah.
Well, I googled it, Ben, and there is some sort of graffiti scene in Demolition Man that comes up. So perhaps you were right.
I just think it's funny all the things that if you go back and watch these old movies, they thought might actually exist in the future, and then nobody's ever carrying an iPhone. Like, yeah, definitely somebody will come with the technology where you can press a button and these little things will pop out of a box that spray paint in a perfect graffiti pattern that I guess you set up ahead of time, but nobody has an iPhone or anything like it.
But I guess it was maybe 2 Star Trek little personal data pads they had for things.
Oh
And
yeah, that's right.
and so people
They were the
thought-
closest ones, but even then it was like one of their iPads was like a book.
Yeah.
Like you would have like a whole shelf full of those, I think.
Yeah.
That was the closest we got. All right, why don't we just stop with these 3 maybe?
Okay.
Let's get them lined up there.
I should have known this would be about the best I did. And you can kind of see like this is like we're talking about bad movies, and it's almost like a bad movie thing. This is at the beginning when I still had plenty of time, and so it kind of came out the best. And this is when we're starting to run out of the time budget, and this one's like, oh, we barely got any left, but you can still read it. So hey, it counts. So that is from left to right. We have Typhoon, Apollo, and Conestoga, which you can get and print yourselves in Carnage, or miniatures set, question mark, question mark.
I think
I don't remember off the top of my head.
Conestoga, I think we said was in 3, and I forget which one the other 2 were in off the top of my head.
Chad says the Powerpuff cars.
And poor Scarab barely got a heart at all.
You need a green and a blue for
Yeah,
that.
not quite the Powerpuff colors, but we get the meaning. All right.
All right.
Anything else we want to talk about before?
So keep your eyes peeled for announcements about the new store going live, or go check it out yourself. You can get the link. You can go to warehouse23.com, and there's a link in the banner at the top that takes you over there to the new site. Just sign up with the same address that you used on Warehouse 23, and we'll have more information coming out about that in the next couple of weeks here. Gene's got us. Conestoga's in set 4. Scarab is in miniatures box B.
I think that's like one of the 2-player starters.
And what are the other two? Yeah, it's in one of the 2-player starters.
Apollo and Typhoon.
Apollo
I
and
think
Typhoon.
Typhoon's another one that's one of the starters. But I don't know about Apollo. Do we have any other Kickstarters going on right now?
Now, we just finished Wiz War
Wiz War,
last week.
Right?
Stay tuned.
Stay
Yep.
tuned for some new stuff.
We've always got something going on.
You should be able to pick up Car Wars on the new site. So if you need these sets, you should be able to get them on the new store. Get them in time for Valentine's Day? Probably not, because that's Tuesday, so you'd have to live close.
Yeah, maybe if you order it right now.
If you ordered it right now, but check and see what the store says for where you're at.
Yep.
I mean, that's pretty much true with anything you're going to order right now. It's like, check to see what the shipping times are.
Yeah.
Add a day or two for the last minute people.
It probably gets a little crazy for Valentine's Day too.
Yeah, I don't know if Austin shipping is back to normal after last week's storm.
That's
yeah, it
true.
might not be.
But those came out pretty good.
Well, there you go, and have a happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Go do something cool, spend it with people you care about, and I guess we will. I'll probably see you in a month or so. Can't guarantee it'll be a St. Patrick's Day stream. Probably not.
Sounds
Hunter
like
seems
that, but
to have kiboshed that. Maybe we'll do an Easter stream though in the next couple months.
we'll see you guys next week on SJGames Live.
All
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
So long. Thanks so much for stopping by.